Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pickups. I'm Pocket, and I went recently to a Raleigh Retro video game trade event that was hosted by the Raleigh Retro Gamers on Facebook, and wanted to showcase some of the pickups that I got during that event. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing that I'd like to show you is I stopped at a local retro video game shop. They actually had a booth there, and they had some old school PC games that I truly enjoyed back when I was growing up, and a couple of these just looked interesting. I may not have played it before, but there were a couple that I have played, and I am super excited to get these into my collection. The first one that I'd like to show you is a game called Conquest 5. Now, I've noticed that Roberta Williams has been on a lot of YouTube videos recently, talking about making a comeback with her husband and coming out with a brand new game. I'm looking forward to that, but Conquest 5 for the MS-DOS platform. And I was able to get this for a pretty decent price of $15, only to open it up and realize there's no CD in it. It did come with the book, which is really cool. Really cool to have stuff like this. It comes with original receipt, which I found kind of interesting. Let's see if we can't find a date here. CompUSA in Goldsboro, North Carolina on 1994, February 5th. That's pretty impressive, and the price that was paid. I love when old receipts come like this. It also comes with this little decoder that you would actually put over the hint book in certain sections, and it would actually reveal some text that was right here. So that was how you would read it. You would just find the text and you'd be able to read it. The camera's not picking it up, and that's actually kind of good. Didn't want to spoil the game for anybody. I went ahead and picked up a copy off of eBay to go ahead and put in here, only to find out that this particular copy is actually for Microsoft Windows 95. So I kind of screwed that up. This is Windows compatible, so I think I got the wrong CD. Still, I did manage to complete at least partially, and I'll be looking to replace that in the future. That way I can have a Windows version as well as a DOS version. Not a fan of all those spots on there, and the box was kind of crushed. I've been putting weights on it to try to flatten out this box. Believe it or not, it's actually a whole lot better than what it was. But we'll see if I can't get rid of those spots, flatten out this box a little more, and I'm really excited to have this in my collection. Alright. Next up is a game called Flight Unlimited, a big box PC title. It didn't cost me much at all, and I love what they did with the actual, the graphic of the box itself. Behind it you can see the manual. It's slightly shifted, so the graphics are a little off. But that is the manual of the game, and it's an old school flight simulator. I mean, I say old school, but let's be honest, it was made in 1995. At least that's what the copyright says. Not a bad looking box, considering its age. I thought that was pretty neat. The last one that I picked up of big box PC titles is a wizardry game called Nemesis. This one's 5 CDs long. What I find interesting about this, aside from, the fact that it's a great game, the Wizardry series is fantastic. Another CompUSA receipt, we gotta love it. The manual is nice and tiny, but the tour guide is nice and large. So with colored print, and it looks absolutely fantastic. But here's what I'd really like to showcase, and that is the actual CD case. It's a double-sided or a double-density CD case that I'm used to seeing for things like PlayStation 1. But the weird thing is this actually does hold all 5 CDs, so the way that it is crafted is actually pretty nice. I don't recall seeing a PlayStation 1 game with 5 CDs. I think 4 is the max that I've seen. I could be totally wrong about that, but pretty neat to have 5 CDs all in a double density CD case like this. I thought that was pretty cool. Got the registration book, a little scroll as well. It is in really nice shape, so I'm really excited to add this to the collection. Some of you may or may not know, I was just as much a PC gamer back in the day as I was a console player, so I would turn off my NES to go hop on the Apple II. I would turn off my SNES to go hop on my Hewlett-Packard 486. So I played a lot of PC games growing up, some of my favorites being Sim Farm and Sim Ant, as well as Red Baron. So these types of games mean a lot to me because I played them growing up, so really enjoy having these in my collection. Onto the console games though, I picked up just a variety of games. I'm not going to go in any particular order, I'm just going to go ahead and just grab from the top of the stack and just start showcasing them. So first up, an Xbox 360 title, Civil War Secret Missions. Now, Secret Missions is a title I thought I already owned. It turns out I didn't. There are two History Channel Civil War games for the Xbox 360. I was able to pick up the one that I was lacking in my collection. So really excited about that. Not to mention, I enjoy learning about the history of the Civil War, and the fighting style of that era appeals to me more than something like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Next up, I used to own this game, but during the great break-in of 2018, unfortunately it was stolen from me. I was able to get a copy back, and it went for incredibly cheap. So I know it's not an exciting title, but I remember what was stolen, and it's good to get some of that stuff back. Next up, the Championship Edition. Now this is a variant because I actually already own Tron Battlegrounds, Tron Evolution Battlegrounds. This is the Championship Edition. Unfortunately, it did not come with the manual, so I just have the disc for that, but it's nice to have a variant in the collection. Paid a little bit of money for this Wii title. It's Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo. I didn't know this game existed. Turns out it was the last Dragon Ball game that I needed to complete all of the Dragon Ball games for the Nintendo Wii. So really excited to be able to complete that and add this to my collection. Funny thing about this particular one, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the thing that I already have in my collection. I picked this up at the thrift store because I'd never seen anything like it before. And I picked this up a very long time ago. So what I already have in my collection is a PS2 game, I think, of Pac-Man World Rally. But notice at the top here, it says PS2 Experience. It's actually a DVD game. So I would imagine that this isn't exactly the same as the actual Pac-Man World Rally that was released for PS2. As a matter of fact, you might even notice that there's quite a difference in the size of just the case by itself. Let's also take a look. Unfortunately, no manual for this guy either, but even the disc cover art, and it does say DVD PlayStation 2 Experience. Yeah, I saw it. I picked it up because I saw PlayStation 2 when I was looking through the thrift store. I picked this up, I don't know, in 2018 or something like that. But it's good to get the actual game. Find it kind of interesting that, is this a thing? Is this really released by Bandai Namco? I had no idea, so, you know, it's nice to have it. Gran Turismo 4, I can't believe I didn't have this. The greatest hits version of Gran Turismo 4, again with the no manual. I want to say that a lot of these were in a box that somebody was just selling for like $1 a piece. And, you know, part of the reason why is because they're not complete. But it's still nice to get this. I have the Black Label version, of course. I even have the Japanese versions. But it's still nice to get the greatest hits version into the collection. Fisherman's Challenge. This one's actually kind of pricey, and it's another one from that pile of no manual games. So was able to add this one to the list for pretty cheap considering no manual. I'm happy to do so just because it helps me complete the entire set of PlayStation 2. I'm currently looking at a grand total of over 1,100 games for the PS2. And in order to actually get this complete, I'm going to have to go for, you know, what I could get my hands on and see if I can't complete them later. During these trade events, there are a lot of times where vendors will have just a box of manuals, and I'll be able to pick up manuals, especially for common games like Pac-Man World Rally or something of that nature, for relatively cheap. And overall, if I just buy it in pieces for used common games, it's often cheaper than finding it complete in box or having to pay for shipping on top of that. So This is why I buy things without a manual. It's because I am highly confident that I can complete it later if I desire to do so. This one right here was not cheap. And it's funny because I actually mentioned the fact that I wanted to get this particular game because I thought I only owned the second title in the series. Turns out I owned the first one. But because I had recently mentioned it, it was on my mind, and I wanted to make sure and get this into my collection. This is my very first purchase of the Raleigh Retro Meetup, and it was Kaitos Origins. Now this one is complete in box. I do not have any confidence that if I bought this without the manual, that I'd be able to find just the manual later. So I wanted to make sure and get this one complete. And I was able to do so. It's in great shape. And I am really looking forward to playing this series now that I know that I have them both. So, yeah, I paid too much money. But it was on my mind, and it was due to the recent pickup video that I did. I thought this was pretty neat. I kind of like these limited collector's editions with the steel tin. This is significantly thicker than a standard DVD size, right? And the reason for that is they usually, you know, include a bunch of goodies. For this particular one, Call of Duty World at War, it came with a canteen. Or at least what looks like a canteen. Let's see if that can pick up the embossing on there. It says Call of Duty World at War. You would think that this would just simply unscrew. Oh no. No, it absolutely does not. It is just a piece of metal, and that's all there is inside here. It was kind of disappointing, but hey, you know what? I got it for a really cheap price. And I never bought this. I typically don't buy collector's editions on release unless it's a franchise that I am truly a fan of. So I'll buy, if, you know, Phoenix Wright ever came out with a collector's edition in the US, I would be all over that. If Advance Wars came out with a collector's edition, I'd be all over that. But Call of Duty, it's not that I hate the game. I actually enjoy the Call of Duty franchise. I just enjoy single-player version of Call of Duty. I know it's a sin, right? How could you not play multiplayer? Well, I'm a little older. My reflex is a little slower, so it's not often that I get and play games of multiplayer unless it's cooperative. So that's my preference, but it's still nice to have this. Though, if I were to play a Call of Duty game, both single player and multiplayer, my preference would be to play it on the PC over playing it on a console. I just prefer first-person shooters on the PC. There were a lot of games that I did cut my teeth on playing with a controller that's a first-person shooter. But honestly, I feel like I have more control over first-person shooter games, specifically with WASD movement and mouse look. So that's my preference. Still, it's nice to have representation of part of the Call of Duty franchise in a collector's edition format. Picked up a couple of Game Gear games. I'm starting to really look into getting more and more Game Gear. I truly believe that after I complete the PS1 set, I'm gonna go for a complete Game Gear set. So the more that I can find now, with not everyone owning an analog pocket, it's my opinion that once more analog pockets get out in people's hands, they're going to want to start picking up more Game Gear titles, and that means that it's just going to be more expensive. The prices are going to go up because demand's going to go up. So I want to try to get as many Game Gear titles as I can today, while still maintaining my focus that PlayStation 1 full set is the primary goal for now. That being said, I can't say no to cheap Game Gear games that I still need to add to my collection, so Chessmaster being one of them. This one was not cheap, but still nice to have. Slider for the Game Gear. And by Namco, Batter Up. And I absolutely despise that cover. What is that guy looking at? Why is he looking so crazy? What is going on there? Either way, I enjoy my sports games, so I will be giving that a shot. And it's really nice to add those to the collection. Oh, man. So, there's a gentleman named, well, I call him the Face of Evil. Sadly, you know, he was there, he was selling stuff. He's the Face of Evil because twice now he has bought stuff right as I was about to walk up to the booth at a particular convention, and he snagged it up and purchased it. So He's stolen Wu-Tang for the PlayStation 1 for me, which I still haven't gotten one yet. And he also stole a Duo R. So we have been frenemies for a while. This happened starting back in 2019. So every time I see him, I call him the face of evil. But I still buy games from him because whereas we are frenemies, we also like co-op-atition, if you get my meaning. So I give him a hard time, and he gives me terrible pricing. Yeah, so this time I bought a couple of PlayStation 1 demos that I didn't have. Here is another Pizza Hut demo disc that I needed to add to the collection. And then the PlayStation Underground series, they came out with these demo discs that come with a manual. These are really nice. This is issue 3.3, so it's got, you know, tons of demos for different games. Ape Escape, Gran Turismo 2 for just this one. And, you know, it's got demos, it's got playable demos, and it's got just, you know, kind of just videos on certain titles as well. So these are actually really nice, and, you know, I like the fact that I'm able to still find these, and they go for really cheap, so to be able to celebrate something like this is really cool. Not to mention, they just look neat to me. Here is one where they were really excited about the PlayStation 2 launch. In North America, it came out October 26th, the year 2000. And here is issue 4.3, which you should be able to see on the spine there. This has a couple of informationals about the PlayStation 2 disc. You know, what's on this particular one. Goings on with disc 1, they got a debriefing, the event center. You have a grind session behind the scenes. I mean, that's really neat. I really like that. The playables for this: Grind Session, Crash Bash, Spyro Year of the Dragon, Matt Hoffman's Pro DMX, and Sydney 2000. With videos on a couple of games here, Final Fantasy IX being one of them, Parasite Eve being another. And then here's the cool part: exclusive footage of the PlayStation 2 games that are going to be launching. I think these are just neat. I truly enjoy, you know, learning about the history of consoles and whatnot. I think that this is a great way to showcase that in one package. Love this Legend of Dragoon PlayStation Underground demo disc. I thought that was really well done, and everything looks really cool. And then finally, I've got, which version is this? This is 4.1. So I'll put them in proper order. This is also in the year 2000. I'll put them in the proper order. That looks like more Legend of Dragoon. They were really excited about that before it came out. And honestly, I don't blame them. Legend of Dragoon is a great game. Twisted Metal 4 and Medieval on the, or Medieval 2, I should say, on the insert here. That's really just, that's neat to me. So being able to celebrate the history is just kind of something cool that I enjoy. That and PlayStation 1 is very quickly becoming a favorite console of mine. Alright, I met a friend of mine, Romanian Dark One. You might have seen him in some of my live streams. He and I actually work together, so that's where we met. It was through my live streams, and then we found out we worked at the same place. So he and I have been hanging out quite often, and when we go to these local trade events, we're able to catch up with one another and let each other know where we are in our collecting journey. And he often brings me gifts, which is crazy. And he knows that one of the things that I like to do is I would like to have representation of a brand new sealed game for every console that I collect for. Now, the reason why I want to do this is because I want to showcase what it looked like on store shelves. And it doesn't have to be the most rare, most expensive game. It could be a Madden game for all I care. As long as it's sealed as it was sitting on a store shelf, I'd like a representation of that, just to see what it looks like when you went into the store to shop for these types of video games. Just one is all I need. So he knew I didn't have a sealed game for this particular console, so he was nice enough to hook me up with this copy for the Neo Geo CD. This is the Japanese version, and hang on one second, I will get you the the title here. We thought it was something, but it turned out to be something completely different, and I don't want to misinform you. So I'm trying to find it very quickly. This is what happens when I'm not prepared. And I do apologize. This is Savage Rain for the Neo Geo CD. And this one is factory sealed, brand new. Now, I already had a copy of this in my collection, so now I have a duplicate of it. But it's still nice to have something brand new for the console, so really happy about that. I saw this in passing, and I didn't even know this game existed. I knew about the original one, but I didn't know they made an online version. And it's Speed Devils Online Racing. The interesting thing is, because I don't remember ever seeing this, I expected it to be expensive. It wasn't. So it says very clearly online racing right there. And yeah, I don't know why. I've never seen this ever. So when I saw it, I was like, all right, well, since I've never seen it in the 5 years I've been collecting, I guess I gotta pick it up. For some reason, I kept missing the opportunity to get this particular game added to my collection. It's really frustrating because I'm such a fan of the franchise that, I've got collector's editions of this franchise starting on the Nintendo Switch for quite some time. I think every single version of this game that had a collector's edition I own. And I even started picking up Super Famicom versions of this franchise from Japan, complete in box. So, to not have a North American 3DS game, Fire Emblem Conquest. This is Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, and it's a little pricey. It's unfortunate, but I finally got it added to the collection. I have Birthright. I think I've owned Birthright twice. I've just never gotten Conquest, so it's really frustrating to me. Orange Owls, this is for you, and I'm sorry it took me so long. Orange Owls is Lucky Loon's partner in crime. You might know Lucky Loon from Twitch. Feel free to look him up. He's twitch.tv/LuckyLoon87. He and I almost, we found each other shopping together on Facebook during a Facebook Live auction from back in 2018. And we've been palling around ever since. Well, he started streaming a couple of years ago, and he's absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend you go check him out. But his partner in crime, Orange Owls, also streams, by the way, look her up, has been not begging me, let me be clear, has been requesting that I add this game to my collection for over a year. I'm sorry. I do deeply apologize. Finally took care of it, though. Not only did I take care of Happy Home Designer and added it to my collection, I got a factory sealed copy. So I'm sorry, Orange Owls, but I do have it, and I owe you a pocket. So I am very happy to finally be able to fulfill this pocket requirement, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Just like that. Now, because it's sealed, I'm going to, of course, tape it to the back. But once I open the game, which my wife is surely destined to do at some point, we'll go ahead and put the pocket inside the case. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it to the back for now. I always use masking tape, guys. Don't use Scotch tape on your sealed games. Don't use duct tape on your sealed games, please. I would greatly appreciate it. Masking tape, or also commonly referred to as painter's tape, works just fine. So there you go, Orange Owls. Just for you, Happy Home Designer added to the collection. Face of Evil sold me one more game. Now keep in mind, PlayStation 1 is my go-to, right? That is my primary goal, is to complete that PlayStation 1 set. And this is something that I owned loose, but I hate. I know that's a strong word, but I really do hate having loose PlayStation 1 games. So I fixed that as quickly as I possibly can. I got a copy of Power Shovel for the PlayStation 1. This one is complete in box, and I'm happy to have that in my collection as well. Also picked up a copy of Killing Zone, another game that I just don't see very often, so it's really nice to go ahead and add this to the collection as well. Look at that disc art. That's pretty impressive. Reminds me of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons: Iron and Blood. Also needed a greatest hits title, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, and snatched this up for a quick $5 at a random vendor. He didn't really have a whole lot, but everything on his table was $5. This unfortunately was the only thing that I needed from his table, so I managed to snatch that up, and I'm happy to have done so. Unfortunately, these 3 games are not the only PlayStation 1 games. There is one other game that I need to showcase, but I have a feeling that's going to be last. Also picked up a couple of Nintendo Switch games. This one is In Shrinks Factory Sealed, Gem and Nose. This is apparently a convention exclusive. I got taunted into, hey, Pocket, I got something that you don't have in your collection, but it was sitting on the table ready to be purchased, and I felt like a sucker for it. So, it's Demon's Tier Plus. This is from Premium Edition Games. You might remember them from one of my other pickups videos where I bought number 1. Oh man, now that's gonna bug me if I don't actually look it up right this second. Hidden Dev Games Collection, that's what it's called. I managed to get the collector's edition, and isn't not getting picked up too much, but he actually signed it for me. I actually was able to get this from him. It was the proof copy, so that's why he put in advanced copy number only, and he signed it for me. I thought that was pretty cool, but I did not get this one. So the fact that this was at the trade event, I was pretty happy about that. So. Also managed to pick up a copy of Reverie. This is the Sweet As edition. This one is complete in box, not sealed. For an East Asia soft game, typically I get them sealed, but that one's complete in box, and I'm okay with that. Shiren the Wanderer. This is a sealed copy. I don't know if you guys can see that, so I unfortunately can't show it to you. I missed this one. I don't know when this was made available, but I just, for some reason, wasn't buying limited run that month, and completely missed the release of that, so happy to pick it up. Another sealed guy. I don't know why everybody's such on a sealed kick. I don't buy sealed games because I want to keep them sealed. I want them because I want to eventually maybe play it if I ever get in the mood to play it. But there's a lot of people that are holding on to sealed games like, you know, they're liquid gold. I buy games, sealed or not, to play, so it really doesn't bother me on whether or not it's sealed, but there is a reason why I'm showing you the seal, and that is because normally on a complete in-box game, I want to show you that the cart actually exists, and that's for video purposes for the Guinness World Record attempt when I eventually go for that. They do require video evidence, so that's why I show the game where applicable. And this is not sealed, darn, right? Riviera, the Promised Land, an Atlas title with no manual. I got a deal on it. I paid less than loose price for it, so the fact that it had the box with it, that makes me pretty darn happy. So it was nice to add a couple of PSP games to the collection. That was pretty cool. This one I already had in my collection, but I only had just the case and the disc, and I wanted the whole package because I appreciate the bigger packages of the older games. So think, you know, Earthbound, you know how it had that really big box. Mario Paint had that really big box. So anytime I find a game that, even if I already own it, if I don't own it truly complete as it was sold in stores, I'm going to want to upgrade, and that's what I did this time. I got a copy of iToy Play 2 for the PlayStation 2, and its original packaging to include the iToy itself. Now, I already have an iToy, and I already had iToy Play 2, so I essentially had everything. You know what I didn't have? I didn't have this piece of cardboard. That's what I didn't have. So I paid a little bit of money to get that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Only a couple of more, guys. I actually got some Sega Saturn games. I know, some Sega Saturn games in 2022. What? So I was able to pick up a couple of, they are commons, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't own many Saturn games. Since I started collecting in 2017, they've been expensive this entire time. I only own 42 Sega Saturn games, including the ones I'm going to show you now. So, Shanghai, Triple Threats. This one is complete in box. I'm in this kick where I need complete in box Sega CD and Sega Saturn and Sega 32X games. And I couldn't tell you why. It's just, when I started collecting for those platforms, I started collecting and I kept getting complete in box. Now I don't want to stop or let go of that complete in box version of the game. So I'm loath to think about collecting loose copies of Saturn and Sega CD games. That doesn't sound appealing to me. So I'll keep collecting complete in box for those 3 consoles. Another one, Gen War for the Sega Saturn. I didn't own a Saturn growing up, so there's a lot of discovery to be had for these types of games. Stuff that I've never played before, and stuff that never made it to any other console. I can't tell you if Gen War is a Saturn exclusive or if it's offered on other platforms. I don't know the answer to that, but at least I have a copy and I can check it out at any point in time. The last thing. Oh, I have to thank someone. This person went out of their way to hunt this down for me, bought it at their local area, drove all the way over to Raleigh, set up a tent to sell some stuff, so he had other reasons for being there, but he actually went out of his way to be on the lookout for something that I've been wanting in my collection for quite a while. And we're one step closer to getting that. I still don't have it yet, but he was able to get me something that I've been looking for a while. So, Jason Page, thank you. Thank you for hooking me up with the long box and manual of In the Hunt for the PlayStation 1 in relatively good shape. I've already put it in a protective sleeve. The reason for that is we've got a lot of peeling, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. Yep, you can see it right there. Got a lot of peeling on the label. I don't want it to get worse. So eventually I'm going to try a very light glue to get that back down. But I want to keep it in here. Sadly, I don't have the disc yet. But this gives me opportunities to go ahead and try to find this game loose on eBay or somewhere else. Pay a little bit less for it because I already have the box and the manual. So that's the goal. And I still need the CD jewel case variant of it as well in its entirety. So that was the Raleigh Retro Trade Event for me. It was on it was at the beginning of April 2022. And I was able to pick up everything that I showed you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you again real soon. Take care.